Hello, everyone, and welcome to Break The Isak. Today we have a special guest star with us, Simon. Would you like to maybe tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thanks for having me on, Caleb.
Anytime.
I'm Simon. I'm a Chinese New Zealander. Born and raised in New Zealand. Lived a few years in China. I like volleyball. I like fashion. I like food too.
Yeah, nice. So, speaking of volleyball, I know you play a good bit of it. When did you start?
I started playing volleyball actually when I started high school in New Zealand. So I think junior high and high school is combined in New Zealand. It was funny. So there's actually at my old high school there was for the juniors there was a sports academy program, so you could train during school time.
Yeah.
Before playing volleyball, I played soccer a lot. I tried for the soccer academy. I didn't make it, and then my mum said, "Oh, you should try out for the volleyball academy." No one there had really had that much experience, but my mum played a lot of volleyball when she was in university. So I went to go try out. They accepted me. I got lucky. So I was in the volleyball academy. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And you really enjoy playing volleyball, I imagine,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Nice.
I did like that.
So, do you like what sets it apart from other sports, like you mentioned soccer, or football, basketball,
Yeah.
things like that?
I think the first thing would be every single skill in volleyball is really tough. It takes a lot to pass properly, to set properly, to spike properly, and then once you have all those three skills down, that's just the bare basics of the game, right? The other thing is it's not a big court. There's 6 people on the court. There's a lot of room for miscommunication. Like having good chemistry between your teammates is really, really important. It can never be a one-man sport. Yeah.
Cool. That's really interesting. So, I've also heard that you play off campus some too. Is that right?
Yeah. So I play with a few local high schools here in this area. I've gone to a semi-pro team in Nagano City, but I don't go as much now. Last year I played with a club, but it's just got a bit too tedious.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, how often do you go off campus?
Last month I've been barely off campus. Just schoolwork's been piling up, but
Yeah.
now that I've got a bit of a break with project week and spring break, planning to return to 2 to 3 times a week.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, do you do anything else to like supplement your volleyball skills, like watching professionals, working out specific exercises, things like that?
Yeah, for sure. So the teams that I do play with, I think for most of the teams, I'm definitely the worst on the court.
Really?
Yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah, thanks. So playing with them is a big challenge for me, and I think it's a big learning curve, but as a needed learning curve. Yeah, I work out here and there. Depends if I'm at a time where I go play off campus 3-4 times a week, then I probably wouldn't go to the gym as much. But if I only go once a week, I'll try kind of balance that with some gym work. Yeah.
Gotcha. So you kind of mentioned, not feeling like you're the best on the team. What are some other maybe challenges you faced in learning how to play volleyball?
Well, I can think of so many challenges here in Japan. The first thing is my Japanese is not that good, and their English is not that great either. So communication does get tough. Transportation is tough too. We're pretty far from everything here. A 45-50 minute walk from the nearest train station. Sometimes I have to walk down train station, go somewhere else, transfer another train, walk another half an hour, train, and then of course take same way back. So I often find myself spending the same amount of time on transport as I do training. So it does get tough. You lose a lot of your personal time, your free time, your time you could be doing homework and things like that. But I do think it's worth it. The level that these teams play at is really high, and I do get a lot out of it.
Yeah. So it seems like, it's difficult just to get there. It's difficult to kind of communicate with the other teammates. How did you even kind of find out about this program? Did you reach out to someone, or?
So it's not one set program. It's actually a lot of, I train with this school on this day, if that school on that day, this club on that day. So I'm a bit of everything. before so in the volleyball world, Japan is really famous for like top level high school volleyball. So I knew that before I came to Isaac, and I did a bit of research before I came. I had a Japanese friend back home. He went to a different school. Josh Clark. He's half Japanese. He played in a really good school in Tokyo. I think he's New Zealand youth team, junior team now. He's half Japanese, so he helped me send a few emails and asked around for a little bit. And once I came here, I just called this school, called that school. Hey, can I train with you guys? Can I train with you guys? And the worst thing they can say is no. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean that's really cool, honestly. So I know a lot of people on campus right now are injured because of various reasons. Have you ever gotten injured as a result of playing volleyball?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So coming from New Zealand volleyball is just fun, relaxed, and to this real intense Japanese volleyball. 4 hours, 5 hours on a weekend, twice a day, and it was a lot on my knees specifically. So I've actually got jumper's knee, which is a common injury with volleyballers and basketballers. I've had it since about this time last year, and it comes in kind of waves. Like sometimes it gets really bad, but you have to do rehab, and so right now it's all right. It's still there, but it's bearable. It's not too bad, but at its worst, sometimes like even going upstairs, it's a bit painful. But
yeah, it sounds painful. Let's try and make it a little more positive. I mean, I've seen you jump before, and it's really impressive.
Thank you.
So, what would you say is like one of your biggest strengths in volleyball?
Biggest strength in volleyball? Yeah. That's tough. I mean, I thought I was good at volleyball, but training with these Japanese schools, man, I've got a lot to work on. I think. I think my biggest strength would be just the experience. So I played in New Zealand, of course, a more American style of volleyball. I've played with different levels teams there, and then here in Japan, it's a more Japanese style of volleyball, which is a lot different to a volleyball played anywhere else in the world. So I think just being exposed to these different styles of volleyball, I'm able to kind of mix and match and take this aspect of New Zealand style volleyball and use that aspect of Japanese style volleyball. And,
so I'll be honest, I really don't know a lot about volleyball, but it seems really interesting. So maybe could you go over like some of the different styles and different ways that different people play volleyball?
Sure. So for example, in New Zealand, height and power is really prioritized, which is something I'm lacking a bit. So things like passing and all the technical stuff isn't as emphasized. But here in Japan, passing and getting everything perfect, you don't have to hit the hardest, but you need to make sure the accuracy is on point. And small things like that is really important here.
And which one do you think you prefer? Do you prefer to play here, or do you think it's better to play back in New Zealand?
That's tough. I think I prefer playing here, just because it's so different to what I've been used to. But that could change.
So what's one thing that you've been working on for a while, like some skill you've been trying to improve and work on?
A skill that I've been working on for a while? Probably my serves.
Your serves?
Yeah, I think it's been, pretty average. And
really?
Yeah, a serve is the one skill in volleyball where it's all on you. Say a spike or a pass in volleyball. That could depend on the set that you get and other factors. But a serve, you're just by yourself, and if you mess up, it's completely on you.
So I know like in soccer and basketball, and other sports as well, there's like kind of designated roles for each team member. Is that the same in volleyball? Like do you have a certain role that you stick to and you excel in?
Like a position. So I play outside hitter and libero. So that means for outside hitter, when I'm in the front court, I play on the left side and I hit and block. When I'm in the back row, I play back middle and I hit and defend.
What do you think is the hardest thing about volleyball?
Hardest thing? For me personally, I think it's just the size difference, because I'm really undersized for my position.
Really?
I'm about 5'11", but the average outside hitter at like a semi-pro or more elite level is easily 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". So I'm really undersized.
Pretty big.
I know.
So do you have any piece of advice for people who maybe want to start learning volleyball?
just give it a go. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. You
Yeah.
know, if you do like it,
Mhm.
keep playing. And yeah, it's better to try it out than
Mhm.
and find out you don't like it, then not try it, and it could have been something you really really enjoy.
Yeah, that's great. So, do you have any final remarks you want to make before we close off the episode?
Mm, find something you like to do. Like for me, it's volleyball. Every week there's schoolwork. There's things that gets really gets a lot. But when I play volleyball, it relieves me of all the stresses. I don't think about anything, and you get really into the game. So it doesn't have to be volleyball. Could be art. Could be hiking. Could be anything. Find something you like, and really find time to do that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. It was
No
really
worries.
enlightening. It was a really interesting discussion.
Thank you for having me on.
All good. Anytime. So remember, stay cool. Break the Isak. Break the Isak.